And everybody's like, she doesn't have a job. What is going on? Okay, by parole, I have to have a job. And my parole officer does count my book, the documentary, the TV show, everything that even my social media, being an influencer, that counts as a job. My social media, there's not one thing posted about the crime on my social media. How am I profiting off of the crime? Because that's what I'm known for. I'm trying to change that. If people would just give me the chance to prove that, hey, I can go from being known, infamous, to being known for doing something better with her life. And that's my point on social media. And
okay. You don't have to. I haven't. We don't have to talk about that.
I haven't been I have not been in live that much.
Yeah. You haven't been on social media much.
Yeah, a combination of I have my passwords to where I can log in if I want to, but for posting and stuff like that, I'll make the content and then send it over to my PR team. They will edit it and post it.
Story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother, Didi, has captivated audiences worldwide. From documentaries to television adaptations, this real-life horror story has become a media sensation. But while Didi's manipulation and abuse were the focus of the early reports, the spotlight has shifted. Today, it's not just the story of Gypsy's victimhood, but also how she and her father, Rod Blanchard, are profiting from the tragedy. Through interviews, reality TV shows, and public appearances, the duo seems to have turned their into a lucrative business.
It's hard to judge her. I'm never gonna question or ask her why you didn't do this or why you did this that way. I feel guilt. How can I let this happen? Why I wasn't there for Gypsy more. If I could have built that relationship with her, she wouldn't have hesitated to call me and say, Daddy, this ain't right.
Rod Blanchard's involvement in his daughter's life has always been a contentious subject. In the early days of Gypsy's story, Rod remained largely absent, described as a distant figure who left Didi to care for Gypsy while he remarried and started a new family. Didi's controlling nature and her ability to push people away were blamed for this distance, with Rod claiming he was manipulated out of his daughter's life. However, as more attention was brought to Gypsy's case, Rod's narrative began to shift, and not subtly either.
I felt that it was important to get married, but I woke up 3 months later on my 18th birthday. It just kind of hit me like, you're married here to a woman you're not in love with. So Didi, I'm sorry. I always try to be there as a father, but as a husband, I said, I don't feel that. She grabbed our marriage license, was in a frame, and threw it on the ground.
At first, Rod portrayed himself as a loving father, kept at arm's length by Didi. He made occasional appearances in Gypsy's life, claiming he would send birthday gifts and provide financial support. But as the media began to dig deeper into the story, cracks appeared in his claims. According to Gypsy, Rod was never fully present, and his version of events seemed to morph with each new interview. His absence during crucial moments of Gypsy's upbringing, such as her birth, which he missed while reportedly on drugs at a fish rodeo, tells a very different story from the doted father he later presented himself as. Many have criticized Rod for only stepping into the limelight when the story of Gypsy became a national phenomenon. He claimed that Didi moved far away and prevented him from visiting. Yet Gypsy's early life remained confined to regions not far from his own. His changing accounts, from downplaying his involvement to suddenly asserting his efforts to be a part of her life, reflect a man who is carefully crafting his public image.
Didi told me she's not gonna live to be, 18 years old. She may be an old teenager. That's about it. I was like, really? It was shocking. It was disturbing.
Rod's media appearances have further helped him position himself as a misunderstood father, something that serves him well as the tragedy gained traction in documentaries and series like Mommy Dead and Dearest and The Act, while Didi was undoubtedly manipulative and controlling, Rod's inconsistent involvement in Gypsy's life raises the question: is Rod using this narrative as a way to absolve himself of his absentee father role, or is he simply milking the story for the financial opportunities and public sympathy that come with it? Despite his claims of having tried to be a part of Gypsy's life, Rod's narrative conveniently omits the key details, such as the numerous court battles Diddy initiated to secure child support. He has painted himself as a victim of Diddy's lies, even as he distanced himself further from Gypsy during her crucial development years.
Right from birth, 3 months old, Didi was telling me that she had sleep apnea, and she needed a breathing machine or breathing monitor machine, which, I mean, till this day, I don't know if that was real or not. You know, it escalated from then. Problems with her eyes, hearing, her digestive system. After that, Gypsy couldn't walk anymore. She had a muscular disorder. And Didi told me she would need a wheelchair. You know, and I asked her, I said, man, she's got a lot of issues. What's going on, you know? And
Rod's transformation from an absent father to one actively involved one coincided with the moment on the cameras turned on. His statements about always trying to help financially and emotionally do not align with Gypsy's accounts or public records. The fact that his story continues to evolve with every media appearance suggests that Rod is more concerned with shaping public opinion than with acknowledging the truth.
And I have regarding Gypsy's support and her well-being. So, yeah, she's made some mistakes. I have plenty big mistakes. We all have, I believe. You know, even Gypsy, she's still making mistakes. Nobody expects any of us.
Rod Blanchard's changing narrative has been his ticket to the public stage. His portrayal of himself as a victim of circumstance, rather than someone who played an absent role in his daughter's life, has allowed him to re-enter the picture under more favorable terms. But is this narrative a way to escape responsibility, or is it simply a cash grab in the wake of a tragedy? For many, it seems to be the latter. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's life has been nothing short of a media whirlwind since the details of her story broke. From the horrors of her upbringing, where Diddy subjected her to years of medical abuse under Munchausen by proxy, to her eventual involvement in her mother's murder, Gypsy's life has been laid bare for the world to see. Yet, as tragic as her story is, it's impossible to ignore the financial benefit she has reaped from it. At the core of Gypsy's newfound fame in the narrative of a victim turned survivor, which has resonated deeply with the public. The dramatized version of her life allowed Gypsy to cement her place in the pop culture, turning her from an obscure figure into a household name. While these portrayals brought awareness to the horrors she faced, they also positioned Gypsy as a figure who could profit from her past. Beyond documentaries, Gypsy has stepped into the realm of reality TV. One of her most prominent appearances was on Love After Lockup, a show that follows the lives of individuals released from prison as they navigate relationships and life after incarceration. Gypsy's appearance on the show felt like a natural extension of her public persona, a way to continue her narrative while earning money in the process. The show brought in viewers curious about her life post-prison, giving Gypsy another platform to share her side of the story while continuing to build her public brand.
That went into prison as someone who honestly was very lost and confused of who she was and who she's going to be. And I think that the Gypsy that walked out of prison is finally coming to her own and very accepting of who she is now and hopeful for the future.
Social media has also become a significant avenue for Gypsy to connect with her audience and further monetize her story. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok have allowed Gypsy to cultivate a loyal following, with fans eager for updates on her life, her relationships, and her opinions. Through these platforms, Gypsy has engaged with her audience directly, shaping her narrative in real time and reaping the benefits of sponsorships and promotions. These platforms allow her to capitalize on her notoriety and continue to earn from the story that made her famous.
Hey everybody! So I want to share something with you guys. So I just started taking a new prenatal vitamin. So this is not a sponsor, partnership, or anything. I did purchase these. But I went researching and I realized that what I found was that most prenatal vitamins are not third-party tested. So I went looking for a very healthy option because I want only the best for my baby.
But it doesn't stop there. Gypsy's story has been adapted into books and podcasts, with countless interviews adding to her media footprint. Each new interview, each new appearance helps Gypsy in the public eye, ensuring that her story remains relevant and profitable. Gypsy's ability to present herself as both a victim and a survivor allows her to maintain public sympathy while benefiting from the opportunities that come with her fame.
I definitely think that it is the amount of attention that I am getting on social media. I was the kind of person that if I got, 600 followers, I'm like, that's a lot, that's amazing. And now I'm at 6 million. So it's been almost 7 million. So it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but I'm excited about it, and I'm going to use my social platform to do some good.
The rise in Gypsy's financial gains from this tragedy raises moral questions. While she undeniably endured immense suffering at the hands of her mother, her current approach to media seems less about seeking justice or closure and more about capitalizing on the situation. Gypsy has taken control of her narrative, curating her image as a victim turned survivor while earning from it. Some may argue that after years of exploitation by her mother, Gypsy deserves the financial freedom and independence these opportunities provide. However, others might view her actions as exploiting the very tragedy that caused so much pain. The most telling aspect of Gypsy's journey is how seamlessly she has moved from one media project to next. From prison to reality TV, from interviews to social media, Gypsy has never shied away from the spotlight. In doing so, she has managed to transform her victimhood into a profitable career. While she may claim that her goal is to raise awareness about abuse, it's difficult to ignore how much Gypsy has financially benefited from the attention her story has garnered. Rod and Gypsy's individual stories of victimhood and survival have captivated audiences, but together, they have managed to take the story to even greater heights. Though Rod was mostly absent during Gypsy's childhood, they have since collaborated to capitalize on the tragedy and tore their family apart. Rod's changing narrative and Gypsy's media presence have created a father-daughter duo that continues to benefit from the attention, building on each other's stories to stay relevant. The first indication of their collaboration was Rod's sudden reappearance in Gypsy's life once the media attention around her case skyrocketed. After years of distance, Rod began joining Gypsy for interviews and public appearances, positioning himself as the caregiving father who was wronged by Diddy's manipulations. Their joint appearances allowed them to reshape the narrative into one of mutual victimhood. Both father and daughter, they claimed, had been isolated and controlled by Diddy. This narrative not only kept them in the public eye but also opened up new opportunities for media projects and interviews. Rod's presence in Gypsy's post-prison life raises questions about his motives. While he claims to be supporting his daughter, his media involvement suggests that he is equally invested in profiting from the story. Rod's appearances on television shows and in documentaries alongside Gypsy demonstrate a clear collaboration aimed at further monetizing their story. Together they have found ways to keep their narrative fresh, ensuring that their names remain relevant in the public discourse.
Just like I said.
And everybody's like, she doesn't have a job, what is going on? Okay, by parole, I have to have a job. And my parole officer does count my book, the documentary, the TV show, everything even my social media, being an influencer, that counts as a job.
In addition to media appearances, Rod and Gypsy's collaboration extends to the financial benefits they received from these projects. With each new interview or documentary, they stand to earn more, and their continued willingness to share their story ensures that the revenue stream remains strong. The tragic tale of Diddy's abuse has become a brand, with Rod and Gypsy as its primary figures. What's particularly striking is how Rod and Gypsy seem to have aligned their narratives to create a cohesive story of mutual suffering. Rod's role as the absent father has been downplayed, while Gypsy's victimhood has been emphasized. This collaboration has allowed them to maintain public sympathy and continue profiting from their story. The story of Gypsy Rose and Rod Blanchard is a deeply tragic one, rooted in abuse, manipulation, and ultimately murder. Yet as time has passed, it has become clear that both Rod and Gypsy have found ways to profit from the attention their story has garnered. Through changing narratives, media appearances, and reality TV, the father-daughter duo has turned their traumatic past into a lucrative business.